Good morning. Today we will start the part 1B. We'll do the VMM setup. So in this part, this will be the tasks, the steps that we will do. The first step, we will set up the ESXi VNIC and we will import the VMM to the ESXi. We will first, now we have, let's go to ESXi and do the research and port group setting. Okay, so after you log into your ESXi, you can check under the networks of your current research and the port group configuration. So this is a list of the research and the port group configuration under my ESXi. Let me go to configuration. Under research here, I will add the new networking. Before I add the new networking, I will take a look what should be the correct VLAN ID I need to configure for VMM. So as you can see from here, the VMM VLAN ID is 2908 because of I belong to group 8. So I will choose the virtual machine port group for a standard switch. Click next. Select existing standard switch. This is the correct one I use to connect to uplink to the core switch. Port 0 slot 1 slot 0 slot 17. Click next. I will name it VLAN 2908 and give VLAN ID 2908. If you already noticed that in the previous lab for the CPPM setup, I already create this VLAN. So in fact, in this lab, I can leverage on the same VLAN as you can see from here. Okay, so let's move to the next step. We will go and download the VMM. For VMM, you can download it from the Aruba support portal, ASP. You log into your ASP portal, and from here, you go to the software and documents, and you choose the mobility controller. Under here, you filter the software, and you choose the virtual mobility controller. Sorry, you need to choose the Aruba mobility master. The mobility controller will do in the next lab. And filter the version. In this lab, we will run the 8.6 and we will run the 860. Let me see, 8605. Okay, we can run the 8606 in this lab, latest one. And we choose a type is OVA here. Okay, and this will be the correct image that you should download. Okay, so I already pre-download it and it's already here. Okay, so this is the one we'll use for our setup later. Okay, so import the VMM to the ESXi. So we go back to the VMM and under the VM, we under the host we right click and choose the deploy OVF template. Local file, go to the file we download. It is here. Okay, so we choose this file, Aruba OS MM8606. Open, click next. So this one we will install it under the CPPM AOS 8 lab and we name it. Make sure we follow the same naming standard. So it could be group H VMM1. So means I will need to grp H VMM1. Click next. Okay, next. Alright, next. Now make sure we choose the second. In my case, I choose the second storage and I choose a thin provisioning. And next. VM network, choose a VLAN 2908. Click next. So take a look at the current setting. Finish. Alright, so when we click finish, the vSphere will start to deploy the VMM or VF file to the host. Okay, it is completed. And let's take a look. So this is a new VMM, group 8 VMM1. I can click here to power. Before I power on, right, I right click and go to the edit setting. I will take a look at the current configuration. So CPU 3, memory 6 gig, hard disk 4, hard disk 2 6. Okay, so this is the correct setting. We just click OK and power on this one. Okay, so when click power on, we can click on this one to launch the web console. Enter, enter. Alright, now we can start to do the initial configuration for this VMM. Now let's take a look at the setting that we should configure for this one. The name will be group 8 VMM1. GRP8 VMM1. Controller VLAN ID 2908. VLAN port, keep it default GE0/0/0. Access the VLAN port mode, keep it default access mode. VLAN interface IP address. This is the VLAN IP we need to configure. So it will be 172.25.8.58. 172.25.8.58. Subnet mask /24. Default gateway 172.25.8.254. Config IPv6 on VLAN? No. Country code Singapore, we can press Ctrl E. Or for Singapore, just press SG. Yes. Time zone Asia, Singapore. Or we can change it later. Time zone in UTC 9:52. So it needs to be 1:51. So we just keep it there, correct one. Date 26 October 2020, correct. Password admin Aruba at 123. Aruba at 1223. A capital. Yes, correct. So once the VMM apply the setting and boot it up successfully, we can access to the VMM via the GUI. Let's take a look at where are we now. Okay, so we download, we import, and we already complete the VMM initial configuration. So we will configure VMM license. Okay, so there are a few ways to do the license in the lab. If you only set up one group and you need to get the license, you can go to Aruba support portal. Under the home page, you go to license management and go to license and click on trial licenses. And from here, you can generate the Aruba OS, add part. And from here, you can add the Aruba MM, VA, 1K, sorry, 10K, add this one in. And we can add the VMC because in this lab we will use the VMM to manage the VMC, so it need to have the VMC license, right? So we need to choose the MC VA1K rest of the world, and we add AP license. So AP license will be the per AP capacity. You can choose one, and then we add another license PEF to support the firewall license, and then we add the last one is RFP, right? So this will be the three basic AP license that we need to add to have the full function. Then you can create and then generate the license. In my lab here, I will use another way, right? Later I will show you. Okay, so as you can see from here, the VMM already booted up successfully. Now we can open the new browser and give IP address of new VMM 172.25.8.58. Let's go here and take a look. Admin Aruba add 123. Show IP interface brief. Okay, ping to gateway. Okay, ping internet. Okay, so we should be able to access to this one. Alright, advanced, proceed. Now login with the user admin password is a password you set during the initial configuration. So it should be Aruba at 1238 capital. Okay, now we already can log in successfully to this VMM. The first step we have to do is we need to set up the license. So as I mentioned previously, you can download the eval license and install to this one. But in this lab, I already have another MM, and I already have the license, the full license on that MM. So I can just point this MM to that external MM, to that, to use a license on that. So I don't need to install the separate license for all the MN in this lab. Okay, so as you can see, once I done that, this new MM will contact my existing MM, which is IP is 192.168.49.99 to get the license. So basically this MM already have the license that inherit from that MM. Okay. Now we move to the next step. We need to configure mobility master setting, DNS, auto parking, clock, controller IP, set key. It will be under we there are some settings you can do from the folder level, but some settings you can only do at the device level, right? So go to the system. So from the system, it allows you to set the domain name system, DNS, right? We can add in the DNS 172 dot. Let me take a look again. The DNS server 172.25.29.41, 25.29.41, and 172.25.29.42. And I turn on domain lookup, submit. Alright. Now, the controller also supports the feature called auto parking. It means that when the new VMC or MC join to this MM, it will be moved to the folder that you specify under auto parking. So this one we will leave it there, later we'll configure. And let's go to the node level, device level. So it's allowed you to configure the clock. Now the clock we can configure using the Google Time Server. So let's check what is IP address of Google Time Server here. Or another, we can ping to time.google.com. So this is the IP. I copy this IP. I put it here. Apply the setting. Okay. So check the domain name system. It will inherit from the folder setting that we just completed. The control IP is default the VLAN 2908 that we configured. Alright, so let's see what will be the next step we need to do here. DNS server done, clock controller IPsec key. Now let's do the controller IPsec key as under the group folder setting, controller. This is to tell the MM that when the MM, when there is a new VMC or MC joined to this MM, it will check to make sure that the pre-share key of IPsec key is matched. So let's say we just key in 0.0.0.0. It means that it will accept any controller IP address try to join to this MM. Key, we will key in Aruba at 123, Aruba at 123, Aruba capital, submit. Please take note that this setting is we configure under the folder level, okay? Apply setting. So we completed. Now the next step, we need to create the new folder called LAN cluster, right? Under the managed group. You can click plus sign here to create the new folder. Choose the type is group and LAN cluster. Submit. So when you configure, there will be new folder is here, right? And we can come back to the mobility master setting under system. Now you can configure auto parking. Click on auto parking and you can say that click here to enable auto parking for controllers, and then you can point to this one. It means when the new controller join to this MM and under managed by this MM, it will be moved to this folder called LAN cluster automatically. Apply setting. Okay, now we go back to the LAN cluster folder. Okay, same under this folder we will do the basic setup. Now recommendation, you should create a new folder and apply the setting under the new folder. Try not try not to apply the the setting under manage network node. The reason if you do that in the future, if you create any new subfolder or device for under this uh, parent, the root folder, it will inherit all the configuration. Right. So I will do from the LAN cluster level here. Set configure the clock. Same, we will set it to Google Time Server. Please take note, this one required you to have the internet connection from your MM and MC. If not, you can do the manual. Time zone, I will choose the time zone is Singapore. Submit. Domain name, server. Same, we choose our DNS server 172.25.29.41 and 172.25.29.42. Apply the setting. So we done the clock, done the domain name system, right? Okay, so those are the basic configuration that we have done for the VMM. Okay, so thank you for your listening to